Woohoo, we're live. This is Math 40, 5.7, page 2, special polynomial products. And we are still working with this handy dandy list of formulas. We really only have 3 formulas we're working with. Either it's a perfect square or it's a product of a sum and a difference, otherwise known as a difference of squares, as we get a squared minus b squared, hence difference of 2 squares. And mathematicians, we're pretty basic when we name things. Okay, so when we take a look at this, I've got 2a to the 4th plus ab, and then 2a to the 4th minus ab. So I look through my options and I go, oh wait, that's a plus and a minus. A plus b, a minus b. So let me go ahead and use that one. A plus b, a minus b. The product of a sum and a difference is, and then I go, and they get smaller. A squared minus b squared. Now, this one is more complicated because these are really more complicated terms. So for my a, my capital A squared, I've got 2a to the 4th. Oops, sorry, scooched. And for my b, my capital B, I've got ab squared. So now we're going to have to be complicated. We don't have to be complicated. This is not complicated. But you do need to remember to Oprah everything. So let's give out the squared. 2 squared, a to the 4th squared. So just in the first term, I get 4a to the, and we have to remember how to deal with this. And the way that you deal with this, when there's one base and 2 exponents, I've got another cheat sheet. When there's one base and 2 exponents, you multiply the exponents. So this is going to be 4a to the 8th. Okay, that was the first term. And then the second one, I just give out the squared to both the a and the b. So it's a squared, b squared, just like that. Woohoo. Let's move on to the next one. This is that rare time when I actually gave myself space. Oh no. Now this one, x minus 2 the quantity cubed, is just going to be as gruesome as it sounds. So this one we do need the space for. This is x minus 2 times x minus 2 times, ooh, you can see that right there, that lovely bloody, yeah. The cat and I had an argument about whose bed it was this morning. As you can tell, I lost. So I'm not sure where I'm going to sleep tonight because my cat Hershey now owns the bed. Because, she drew first blood and that's the rules. She drew first blood. I lost. She gets the bed. I will sleep on the floor, sadly. Okay, so, but we're here now. So let's enjoy our time. Not worry about me sleeping on the floor tonight. I've got x minus 2 the quantity cubed, which means I've got 3 of them. There are no formulas for 3. Now, I'm lying because there are totally formulas. Oh my gosh, mathematicians, we have formulas for everything. We've got millions of formulas. But I'm going to tell you that most of the time they are so complicated they're not worth learning. This particular formula is something you will learn if you continue with math in about a year. So Algebra 3 is generally where people learn about it, or in calculus. And if anyone's really curious, I can always show you how to use it, individually. But for what we're doing today, I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to take the perfect square. So I'm going to tell you, it is not possible to multiply all 3 of them together at the same time. You can't do it. Humans aren't built that way. Unless you are built that way. That would be really cool. But I'm going to go ahead and just multiply the first 2 together. And leave this guy to wait, because this is the square of a binomial. This is a minus b times a minus b. A minus b, the quantity squared, is this guy. Or you can FOIL it. So let's see, just the x minus 2 times x minus 2 will come down here. A minus b times a minus b. Now you might have noticed that I'm being kind of sneaky and I'm writing all the formulas over and over again, almost as if I'm hoping you will also be writing them down and learning them. Wahaha, you know my secret agenda. A is x, so this is x squared. Then we've got minus 2 times x, and then we got to figure out what b is. B is going to be 2. And again, notice it gets confusing with the minuses, but since I have a formula that already has the minus, I don't have to worry about the minus. It's already in the formula. B is just the 2. So I've got x squared minus 4x plus 4. Now, the goal would be that once you get good at this, you could do this in your head. You wouldn't have to go through all the in-between steps. So this right now, everything seems like it's taking a long time because let's be honest, it's taking a long time. Okay, so if we go back to the original problem, I now have x squared minus 4x plus 4, but I still have, that's this part. Again, handy dandy coloring system. There we go. I still need, I don't know if you can hear that in the back. That excited voice is my son. They are happily Dungeon and Dragoning right now. Which sounds fun, but not as much fun as math, right? Woohoo, let's do math. Okay, so I've got this whole thing times this. And what are we going to do? You know it. We're going to break up one of them. Now, you could break up either one. It's totally up to you which one you want to break up. I'm going to follow the way we've done it every time. I'm going to take x squared times x minus 2. I'm going to take minus 4x times x minus 2. I'm going to take plus 4 times x minus 2. See how I did that? The blue part is right here. And the yellow part got spread out. I did the x squared, the minus 4x, and the 4. So this is following that old technique that if you've got a trinomial times anything, you just break stuff up. Okay. X squared goes through. X squared times x minus x squared times 2. Minus 4x goes through. Minus 4x times x. Now be careful. Minus 4x times negative 2. 2 minuses give me plus 4x times 2. And then 4 comes through. Plus 4x minus, oops, left out that, minus 4 times 2. Okay, altogether I get x cubed minus 2x squared minus 4x squared plus 8x plus 4x minus 8. So this is x cubed minus 6x squared plus 12x minus 8. That is our final answer on that one. And again, there is a formula. If you really want to look it up, look up the binomial theorem. I know the word theorem, it's like it's like mathematicians have a bunch of extra letters that they're trying to hide from someone. They just shove them into other words. Who knows? So the binomial theorem would tell you how to do this more quickly. And you're welcome to ask me about it. To be honest, I don't think it's worth your effort right now. I would say stick with this, get good at this, and then when we get to it, you'll go, oh, I see what you're doing there. Okay, so you ready? So we've done pretty simple. So we got the death problem coming. Woohoo! Math classes are really just a death cult, right? What? I didn't say that. Okay. Let's take a look at this bad boy. 5y plus 4 plus 5x. 5y plus 4 minus 5x. So how could you do this? Well, if you just wanted to do this and you don't feel like any shenanigans, you're like, stop it with the jokes and stop it with everything. Just do the math. you would split up this one. 5y times this whole thing, 4 times this whole thing, 5x times this whole thing. But as a mathematician, I say, yes, that is one way to solve it. But the question becomes, could I take longer and come up with a clever way to do it that's going to be more complicated? And let's be honest, I can. So let's do it the complicated way, right? So I'm going to take advantage of the fact that I am allowed to put in parentheses as long as they don't change anything. And they don't. So I grouped the 5y plus 4. But when I group that, notice that I get a plus b, a minus b, which is a squared minus b squared. Okay, so a is the 5y plus 4 squared minus b squared. B is just the 5x. At this point, you're probably going, what? And the answer is yes. This is weird. But basically, I am noticing that the terms all match, so it fits a pattern. And I'm using that pattern. And there are a couple of reasons for this. One, I think it's kind of cool, so I wanted to show it to you. You don't have to do it this way, but I thought I would give you the option. And if there's a chance that a couple of you are like, oh, that's kind of cool, I'll do it that way. That's awesome. The second part of it, though, it becomes more important when, again, I keep warning you, we're almost done. Like, this is the last problem in this chapter, I believe. I think we'll find out later, I'm sure. I'll look it up and be like, oh, no, there's more. But hopefully we're done, in which case, next chapter, we're going to have to go backwards. And in order to go backwards, which I mean by starting at the answer and going back up to the question, in order to do that, we're going to have to use the formulas. So the more practice you get with the formulas, the better you'll be at the next chapter. That's all. So I want to keep giving you practice. Now, what is the benefit? I've done the a squared minus b squared, but notice because 5y plus 4 is a binomial to itself, now we have to use the perfect square formula, the a plus b squared. Just this part is the a plus b squared, and I happen to have it memorized, a squared plus 2ab plus b squared minus, and then we have that 5x, the quantity squared, right? So I'm going to have a is 5y, the quantity squared, plus 2 times 5y, b is 4, I get 25y squared because both of those get squared. I get 2 times 5y times 4, that's 40. Y. 4 squared is 16 minus 25x squared. Could you do it a different way? Absolutely. But this way is kind of cool. Hopefully you agree with me there. We are done with chapter 5, I think. And so next up, you'll see me in chapter 6. Woohoo. Rock on. You guys are brilliant and awesome. And I'll talk to you soon. Bye. I miss you terribly. Bye.